The sky turned red before anyone saw the enemy. Strange shapes flew above the palace towers. Bright lights cut through the clouds. The guards shouted. Bells rang. People ran to safety. No one knew who they were fighting. But everyone knew this. Was war. In the middle of the chaos, a human named Jack stood still. He had no armor, he had no army. Just old clothes and a scar across his cheek. He had been caught in the storm while traveling. Now he was in the middle of an alien city under attack. Jack had seen many things in his life. He had fought wars on Earth. He had lost friends and family. But this world was different. Everything here glowed: buildings, roads, even the plants. The air felt like soft glass. The people were tall, graceful, and alien, and among them was her. The princess had wings. Like ruby glass. Her hair shone like silver thread. Her eyes were bright blue, glowing like stars. She saw Jack as he stood alone, not running, not hiding. She didn't know why, but her heart pulled toward him. The guards moved to push Jack away. They thought he was just another lost outsider. But the princess raised her hand. Everyone stopped. "Bring him," she said, her voice calm but strong. The guards hesitated but obeyed. They brought Jack forward. He looked confused but didn't speak. The queen arrived soon after. She wore a crown of light and gold. Her face was proud and cold. She looked at Jack with sharp eyes. "Who is this stranger?" The queen asked. The princess stepped forward. She didn't look at her mother. She looked at Jack. "He's the one I saw in my dreams," she said softly. "The one the stars whispered about." The court gasped. Some laughed. Others whispered. A human? Chosen by the princess? Jack felt like he had stepped into something bigger than himself. He didn't understand their world, their rules, or why this beautiful alien girl was staring at him like he was her fate. He was just trying to survive. But before he could speak, the ground shook again. The red sky split open. More ships fell. From the clouds, beams of energy hit the palace walls. The queen shouted, "Protect the royal family!" Soldiers ran. The crowd screamed. A giant blast tore part of the courtyard apart. And in that moment, the princess grabbed Jack's hand. "Run with me," she said. Her fingers were warm and strong. Jack didn't argue. He ran with her through glowing halls and broken stone. Didn't know why she chose him. He didn't know what was coming. But something inside him said she was right. Maybe fate had already decided. Asterisk. The princess and Jack ran through the crystal corridors. The palace shook again and again. Lights flickered on the high walls. Outside, the sky roared with strange fire. Jack didn't ask questions. He held her hand and followed. He didn't know where they were going, but the princess moved like she had done this before. Behind them, guards tried to catch up. Some of them looked scared. Some looked angry. One guard shouted, "He shouldn't be here. He's not one of you." The princess stopped and turned. Her wings opened wide. "He's with me," she said. The guards fell silent. No one dared argue again. Jack looked at her, breathing hard. She was not like any princess he had ever known. She didn't hide. She didn't cry. She led. They reached a deep chamber below the palace. Strange machines floated in the air. Walls glowed with shifting colors. In the center stood a wide circle, a portal gate. "This is our escape," she said. Jack stared. "What is that?" "It leads to the hidden forest. It's where our kind used to live before we built cities. The attackers won't find us there." Jack looked around. "But why me? Why are you bringing me?" The princess paused. For the first time, her voice softened. "I don't know why, but I saw you in my visions. Every time I touched the starstone, I saw your face. You were standing beside me, always." Jack didn't understand her magic, her visions, or her world. But he had learned one thing in life. When someone trusts you in a moment of fear, you don't let go. I'll protect you, he said. She smiled for the first time since the war began. They stepped into the portal. Light swallowed them both. In seconds, they stood in the middle of a glowing forest. The sky above was soft and purple. Trees hummed with power. It was peaceful, no war, no noise. Just quiet magic in the air. The princess knelt down and touched the moss-covered ground. This is the land of my ancestors, she whispered. It's sacred. Only the royal line remembers it. Jack looked around. Why did you trust me? She stood up. Because when the sky burned, you didn't run. You looked up. You faced. They walked deeper into the woods. Strange creatures watched from the shadows. None of them attacked. They knew the princess. They sensed her power. And they sensed something in Jack too, something old, something strong. Maybe it was courage. Maybe it was something more. As they found shelter inside a tree cave, the princess lit a soft flame with her hands. She sat close to Jack, her wings wrapped slightly around them both. Tell me about your world, she said. Jack told her about Earth, about its blue oceans, green fields, the noise of cities, the silence of night. She listened like a child hearing stories for the first time. When he stopped talking, she touched his chest lightly. You speak of your world with pain, she said. But your eyes still shine when you remember it. Jack said nothing. He looked into the fire. The princess leaned her head on his shoulder. You may be human, she whispered, but your heart beats like ours. Outside, the stars shifted slowly. Inside, two different lives sat side by side, no longer strangers. The forest was quiet, but it was not empty. Every leaf held a memory. Every step Jack took, he felt like something was watching, but not in a cruel way. It was as if the forest itself remembered him, even though he had never been there before. The princess walked beside him, her wings folded close. Her red robe moved softly over the mossy ground. She looked calmer now, but her eyes still watched the sky, waiting for signs of danger. Jack spoke little. He was trying to understand everything. His mind still held the sound of bombs and falling towers, but his heart was pulled toward this strange, peaceful place, and toward her. They stopped near a glowing stream. The water shimmered like silver. The princess bent down and touched it. The stream reacted, sending soft waves of light across the surface. This water remembers, she said. When a royal touches it, it shows the truth. Jack knelt beside her. What kind of truth? She looked at him. Bloodlines, intentions, feelings. Jack stared into the stream. His own reflection looked back at him, but behind it, faint lights moved. For a second, he saw her face beside his, and they both looked connected. She leaned closer. I think the forest accepts you. Jack didn't know what that meant, but he felt it. In his bones, in the quiet of the moment, he was not just a guest anymore. He was becoming something more. They moved on. Birds made soft sounds above. Strange lights blinked in the trees. The princess stopped near a tall stone, half covered in vines. My father brought me here when I was little, she said. He said if ever our kind was in danger, I should return here and bring the one I trust most. Jack looked at her. You trust me that much? I do, she said, more than anyone. He didn't know what to say. Back on Earth, people barely trusted strangers with their names. And now, on a world far from home, an alien princess was looking at him like he was her protector. Maybe even more than that. Suddenly, the sky above them shimmered. A light passed through the trees. The princess turned fast, her hand glowing with energy. It's a scout, she said. They found us. Jack pulled her down behind a root-covered wall. A silver drone flew over the forest, scanning everything. Its light passed right over them, but didn't stop. The princess held her breath. Jack reached out and pulled her closer. Her heartbeat was fast. So was his. But they stayed still until the drone vanished into the sky. When it was gone, she looked at him. They'll return, with more. Jack stood up. Then we need to move, she shook her head. We need to awaken the forest. He didn't understand. How? She took his hand. With both our blood. The forest only rises for two who are bound by fate. Jack froze. You mean? She nodded. The bond must be real. Not forced. I chose you. I need to know if you'll choose me. The forest went quiet again. Jack looked at her. Her eyes weren't just royal. They were full of hope, fear, and something even deeper. He had fought wars. He had faced death. But he had never made a choice like this. And yet, he already knew the answer. Asterisk. Jack looked into her eyes. The wind moved softly around them, and the trees seemed to listen. His hand was still in hers. Warm, alive, real. I don't understand your ways, he said slowly, but I've never had someone believe in me like this. The princess moved closer. You don't have to understand everything. Just trust what you feel. That's what my people believe. Jack gave a small nod. Then I choose you too. The forest answered. The trees glowed from within, not bright, but soft and steady. Roots shifted gently under their feet. The air became warm, as if the land itself sighed with relief. The princess stepped back and pulled a small crystal blade from her robe. She pressed the tip against her palm. A drop of glowing blue blood fell to the ground. She handed the blade to Jack. He hesitated for only a second, then did the same. His red blood mixed with hers on the moss. Where it touched the earth, a tiny spark lit up and grew into a circle of light. Suddenly, the ground opened with a hum. From the earth, ancient stone pillars rose covered in vines, markings, and glowing rings. A great shape formed from the forest, like a beast of roots and stars. Its eyes opened slowly. It was the guardian. The princess knelt, showing respect. Jack stayed still, watching the being made of nature and energy. The guardian spoke with a voice that was not sound but feeling. The bond has been made. The forest accepts the pair, the protector and the royal. Human and air, you have awakened the heart of the wild. Jack felt something move inside him, like a hidden strength unlocking. His mind saw flashes of this place long ago. Wars, peace, the rise of her people. Somehow, those memories touched him too. The guardian turned away and vanished into the trees. The princess stood and looked at Jack. Her wings shimmered red and gold. You are part of this world now, she said. They will know it. The court, the queen, even the sky will know. Before Jack could answer, the sky cracked again. This time it wasn't just a drone. A full enemy ship broke through the clouds. It hovered over the forest, scanning for them. We have to run again, Jack said. The princess shook her head. No more running. The forest will protect us. The ancient trees bent and moved. A dome of leaves and light wrapped around the clearing, hiding them. The enemy light passed over again, but this time it could not see them. They were invisible. The ship flew on. Jack sat down beside her, breathing hard. She leaned against him. The queen won't understand, she whispered. She wanted me to bond with a prince from the sky courts. Jack looked at her. You could have had anyone. Why me? She smiled gently. Because only you stood still when the sky fell. You looked at the storm and didn't turn away. You didn't even know me, but you held my hand. Jack didn't know how to answer, so he said what felt right. I won't let go. She closed her eyes and rested her head on his shoulder. The forest whispered around them. Light danced in the branches above. And for the first time in a long time, they both felt safe. Asterisk. The next morning, the forest felt different. The light was softer, the wind warmer. Jack woke with the princess still beside him, her head resting lightly against his arm. Her wings moved slowly with her breath, calm and relaxed. He sat up quietly and looked around. The trees were still, watching, but they felt like friends now. The princess opened her eyes. "We don't have much time." Jack nodded. "What happens now?" "We go back," she said. "The queen must hear what happened. The forest chose you." "That cannot be ignored," Jack frowned. "What if she still says no? What if she tries to break this?" The princess stood. Her voice was clear. "She can deny a guard or a council vote, but she cannot deny the forest." They walked back toward the portal. It stood just as they left it, glowing slightly. As they stepped through, the colors around them shifted again. In moments, they were standing on a mountain path above the capital. Smoke still rose from the broken palace towers. Ships floated above like silent threats. But guards were back on the walls. The city had not fallen. Not yet. Jack kept close to the princess as they made their way down the winding path. Some soldiers recognized her and moved aside. Others stared at Jack, confused and curious. When they entered the palace gates, the queen was already waiting. Her golden crown still shone, but her face looked tired. "You return," the queen said coldly. "With him." The princess stepped forward. "Yes, and the forest rises behind us." The queen's eyes narrowed. "You dare claim the ancient bond with a human?" Jack didn't speak. He stood tall, his hands steady. The princess lifted. Her palm, the mark from the forest now glowing, shimmered just below her skin. She turned to Jack. He raised his hand. The same light glowed from his. Gasps filled the court. "The guardian accepted us both," the princess said. "This is not a mistake." The queen walked slowly toward Jack. She looked into his eyes, not angry, not fearful, just searching. "You are not of our world," she said quietly. "You carry no name from our line. You were not raised by our laws." Jack nodded. "That's true. But I didn't choose any of this. She did, and I chose her." The queen was silent for a long time. Then she turned to her daughter. "You are my blood. I cannot change that. But your bond will bring storms. You will lose favor. You may lose the throne." "I don't care about the throne," the princess replied. "I care about what's real." The court murmured again. The queen looked at them both. "Very well, you have chosen. Let the stars judge what comes next." She walked away without another word. The princess touched Jack's hand. She didn't bless it, but she didn't stop it. Jack smiled slightly. "That's something." They stood in the middle of the palace floor. Alone, but not afraid. Outside, the sky cleared for the first time in days. The war was not over. But something powerful had started. A bond the world could not ignore. Days passed. The city slowly recovered. Broken towers were rebuilt. Smoke faded from the skies. People walked the streets again, some in silence, some with cautious hope. But everyone had heard the same whisper. The princess had bonded with a human. Some called it madness. Others called it prophecy. Jack stayed in the palace. But he didn't live like a prince. He trained with the guards. He helped repair the damage. He ate with the workers. He didn't act important. He never once asked for power. That made many of them stop and think. The princess stayed by his side. Not as a protector, but as his equal. She showed him more of her world. The songstones that recorded memory. The sky pools that reflected the truth. The trees that spoke only to the royal blood. And each time, the world accepted him more. Then came the day of the star ritual. Every 100 years, the royal family stood before the high flame and showed their future to the people. It was meant to show strength, direction, and legacy. The queen stood before the flame, her voice strong. This cycle is broken. Enemies have struck. Faith has shaken. But something new has risen. The crowd stood quiet. She turned toward her daughter. The princess stepped forward. Jack walked beside her, silent but steady. "This is the one my daughter chose," the queen said. He is not from our stars. But the forest accepts him. The flame must now see him too. The flame was alive. It burned not with fire, but with spirit. As Jack and the princes stepped closer, it pulsed. And then, without warning, the flame changed color. It turned gold. Gasps filled the hall. Gold was the color of legacy. It meant the bond was true. It meant the stars themselves had accepted it. Queen bowed her head. For the first time she smiled, not out of duty, but something softer. Maybe pride. Maybe peace. Later, as the ceremony ended, the princess and Jack stood on the balcony. The sky was dark, filled with stars. Her wings shimmered softly in the moonlight. "You don't feel like a stranger anymore," she said. Jack smiled. "You don't feel like someone from another world." She touched his hand. "You're not just a human, you're mine." He wrapped his arm around her. "And you're mine." Below them, the city lights glowed, not with fear, not with fire, but with calm. Two worlds had met. And love had chosen the path forward.